This is Joel Markowitz from DCTheaterReviews.com. I had the honor of interviewing both casts from 3 Mo Divas, there's really 6 great divas, at Arena Stage this week. I interviewed Gretha Boston, who won the 1995 Tony Award for her performance as Queenie in the revival of Showboat. Andrea Jones-Sojola, a voice from heaven, from Louisville, Kentucky. Nina Negri, a young and talented local Annandale, Virginiaite. Nakenji, watch out for her. This girl can do it all. She's a spitfire. Jamet Pittman, one of the most beautiful voices you'll ever hear on the stage, from Washington, D.C. And Vivian Reed. What do you say about Vivian Reed, except that she'll send you home with a very high fever? I hope you enjoy the interviews. I hope you will buy tickets to see the show. And I hope that you will support local theater and go to that Fringe Festival. Okay, I'm here with Jamet, and your last name again?
Pittman.
Pittman. See, I want to make sure we pronounce that right, since it took me a long time to get Jamet right?
But you do it perfectly now.
Okay, and
yes. And Nakenji.
Nakenji, okay.
Yes.
Well, Nakenji is from New York, I just found out.
Absolutely, the Big Apple.
Where I go every other week to see something. I live up there because you can't get a decent corned beef sandwich here. I have to run the Katz's on the Lower East Side.
Absolutely.
So tell me about, you grew up in New York.
I grew up in New York.
And you were in Aida, New York, right?
Yes, actually, I did Aida, which first we did it in Pennsylvania.
What city there?
Pardon me?
What city?
Actually, it was Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Oh, good. So all the Amish came in.
Yes,
Oh,
they
wonderful.
sure did.
What kind of audience were they?
You know, it was a fantastic audience. So many people flocked to that show, and we were really very happy.
I like the word flock there. I think that's really apropos with the Amish. A little sheepish here, right? I'm so sorry.
Only you would catch that.
That's right.
But then we also took it to Arizona, where I was in Mesa, which was outside of
Right,
Phoenix.
and I have a review from the Arizona, where is this thing? From the Arizona Republic. You know what they
Yes.
said here? Soprano Nakanjan. It was Simpson Hoffman once, right?
Yes.
Now I understand why you got rid of that, huh? Was that a married name?
No, actually, it's honoring both my dads.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
She's so nice.
Yes.
You guys have to come and see her. Cast
Yes.
A, right?
Cast A, absolutely.
Now, this is what they said. They said you has a voice that has been described as capable of shattering wine glasses. Have you shattered a wine glass in your life?
Well, I'm not sure if I shattered a wine glass with my voice, but
You're cracking me up, as they say.
but it's nice to know that they would make that description of my voice, and I really enjoyed my time doing Aida, and it was a great role, and I'd love to do it again.
Okay, you were in London starring in The Genius of Ray Charles. What was that like?
It was fantastic because it was my first time, being on West End,
Right.
and literally, I mean, you would think that you're walking down 42nd Street because, that's their Broadway in England, and we did the show as a review in Reno, and it just miraculously got picked up from a West End
You mean
theater.
without all the sets and the costumes? Is that what you mean?
No, we did the entire show in
Right.
Reno at first,
Okay,
and then they picked it up,
Okay.
and we thought we were going to be leaving, going home, jobless for the summer.
Right.
And this West End Theater Haymarket picked it up, and we did it there, and I actually did it with B.J. Crosby, who's a veteran.
She's amazing.
Absolutely.
She was in...
And Smoky
Joe's Cafe.
Absolutely. And I actually know Lieber and Stoller very well because they gave me
some kind of
scholarship.
Oh, that's what
college.
I read.
Yes. So
do you know other songs? What's your favorite Lieber song?
My goodness.
Or 2 or 3.
There's so many. Hound Dog. You
That's an
ain't
interesting
nothing but a
choice.
Hound Dog.
Hear that voice? You must buy tickets now.
But West End was great. They treated us like royalty, and it wasn't...
That was good. Royalty. That was good. Very good.
And it wasn't about Ray, it was about the musical celebration of Ray Charles' life. So I actually sang a lot of his songs like Hallelujah, I Just Love You So, Come Rain, Come Shine, fever. So it wasn't, you know, where I was a Raylette and there was a man at the piano
fever that Vivian does. I mean,
absolutely.
I'm going to tell her I went home with a fever. That's how good it was last night.
Yeah, she certainly gets everyone hot underneath the pants, even
the
women.
Panting in row D.
But it was fantastic coming back home. And
right. Well, how did it do in London? What were the critics like there, and what was the audience reaction?
We had great reviews. I mean, we had the audience on their feet dancing with us in the rows, and so it was very well received. And then after that, they did A Few Good Men with Rob Lowe. And so,
how did he do? Did you see it?
I didn't see it because we left, but I certainly got to meet him.
That was your low point. You didn't get a chance to even see it, right?
Yeah, but so then, you know, I'm back here in D.C. and happy to be here because I've been here for many other events.
Well, you also performed Aida in New York, right?
Actually, no, I did not perform Aida in New York
I thought
City.
You did.
No, unfortunately, I didn't.
But they word these things in these. I must have misread it. Oops. Well, let's go to Jamet here, and Jamet's a DCer. So
Yes,
tell people about growing up in DC and theater, where your theater experience was.
Well, actually, I had more of the musical experience. I was not in theater.
Okay. You're a
grew up
classical
playing
pianist,
piano.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
started taking lessons when I was 4 here, and violin when I was 7 with the DC Youth Orchestra, and good Lord, I've played in all kinds of different churches.
Right. You played organ, right?
I play organ also.
Can you name some of the churches you played?
Sure. My home church is Israel Baptist in Northeast DC.
Mm-hmm.
I've played at Metropolitan AME.
Right.
I've played, oh goodness, Berean Baptist, Zion Baptist.
And they call me the Wandering Jew. This woman's
indeed,
everywhere.
everywhere.
Oh my
There's
God.
so many churches. I can't even. The rest of Zion Lutheran out in Hillendale.
So you churches who need an organist, just call this woman when she's not busy with the show.
When I'm not singing,
When
but
you're
come
not
see
singing.
the show though.
All right. Well, when you were in college, you changed your major. You want to talk about that?
I did. I had grown up knowing that I would major in music, and so I assumed it was piano. I had taken piano from 4 to age 18, and so I went to Oberlin Conservatory, and I studied in Oberlin, Ohio.
Okay.
And saw my first opera there.
How was it?
It was fabulous.
And
It was
what was
the
it?
Elixir of Love.
Oh, great.
And a friend of mine was singing, and I thought, oh, wow, she's getting this reaction from the audience, and she looks like she's having a great time.
So you figured I can do that too?
I can do that too.
I can do
Because
that.
I've
I
been
can do that.
singing, and I'd had a couple of lessons here and there, but I didn't take it very seriously. But I realized that that's what I would really love to do, how I'd like to relate to the audience.
Well, you know, we saw you in La Boheme in New York.
Yes, indeed.
And what was that like, working for Buzz Lerman?
Let me tell you, Buzz Lerman, he's fabulous. He's really a wonderful director. He was very kind. He never raised his voice on the set.
This is not normal for directors, you know that.
Normally not, yes. Trust me, I do know. But it was a great experience for me.
Okay,
My first Broadway experience.
I know, it didn't run very long. Why do you think it didn't run very long?
Well,
Go ahead, let it out. You can let it out. Good therapy.
well, I think that the production itself was wonderful.
It looked beautiful. The sets,
I thought it
won the
did.
Tony for that set design.
It was
beautiful.
fabulous. It was great. But I'm not sure that New York Broadway
Was ready
people
for that.
were ready for that.
I mean, especially when you can
go up the street.
That's right. You can go up the street
Yeah,
to
go
the
to the
Met
Met.
for half the price. You can get
There
a
you go,
TPC.
you can see it.
I think that had something to do with it.
I think so.
But the two cast, they had two casts there too, right? They rotated.
they had three casts.
That's right. They had three casts. So.
And David Miller, who was one, is now a member of Il Divo.
Wow, I'm sure he's happier.
Go figure. Well,
The poor man has no money now. I feel so sorry for him, you know? So we got the Divas and Il Divo here today. That's a nice combination.
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you both some questions.
Absolutely.
If I can find them here.
Anything
Okay, there we
for
go. What's it like to work together with your cast A, right?
Cast A.
Cast A. Tell me
It's
about the
lots
other
of-
person in Cast A, because I'll be interviewing her tomorrow.
Greta Boston.
Who won the Tony for
Who won the Tony
Showboat.
for
I can't
Showboat.
wait to talk to her tomorrow.
Yes, she's such a jewel to work with. Jamet's a jewel to work with. I mean, we have, even though you have the idea of, ooh, 3 divas, there must be, they must be fighting biting and ripping each other's
Not
earrings
yet, not
off.
yet, at least, right?
Not yet right now, but no, but it's such an honor to work with such wonderful, talented, and humble people, and we really do work well together on stage, and the audience seems to be able to react to that energy that we're giving out.
Well, I was here last night with Cast 1, right? And the audience went crazy.
Yes.
Well, I'll talk to Vivian about that later.
But that tends to be the reaction. We give off a lot of good energy to one another because, again, it's practically a love fest, and there's a lot of mutual respect going on.
I can see that. I mean, I was back at the backstage door last night to introduce myself, and everybody was so down to earth and just very nice. Because I always hang around the stage door when I'm in New York, and that's where I learn most of what's going on. Tell me about the costume, because the costumes are just lush, and in the review today in the Washington Post, they talked a lot about how gorgeous the set was and the costumes, and what's it like to wear those beautiful costumes?
It's fantastic. I mean, when we got fitted in New York, everything's fitted to, our body shapes and what's going to, and we're all like matching each other but not identical, you're not looking at the Supremes here, but it's wonderful to work with Tony, and she has
and
a great
who's the name
eye.
of the costume designer? Tell her.
Tony Leslie James.
And she's done a great job.
Absolutely.
Maybe she'll win that Helen Hayes next year. That'd be nice.
Let's hope so. She made us look really great on stage, and things that we feel comfortable in, that really showcase our bodies so that we don't have to worry about that.
Right.
Yes.
We can just do what we do and feel
go
confident.
out there and do what that's so important, going out there with that self-confidence. And I could see it last night. These are real pros.
And the set is it's wonderful.
It's really nice. There's a lot of space there. You're not like so crammed in there that you have to always keep looking where the marks are, right?
Yes.
Beautiful.
And it just brings us out. It actually doesn't take away from our costumes of the divas, but it just adds to it.
It adds to it.
Right.
Okay, tell me about your operatic careers, because you're both singing arias that are very difficult to sing, and I'll hear them tonight.
Yes.
Tell the people in theater land what aria you sing, and tell a little bit about what it is.
Well, each of us have 2 arias that we can alternate, depending on our mood for the day.
Oh, good. So what mood are you in today, and what will you be singing tonight?
I'm not sure about tonight. I'll make that decision soon, but there's 2 arias that I do. One is the Jewel Song from Faust by Gounod, and it's in French. And this aria is about Marguerite, who's a peasant girl, and she opens...
peasant, not pleasant, right?
Peasant, yes.
I was wondering.
And so she walks out of her door and she sees this box of jewels that has been left by Metamorphoses, and they kind of take possession of her, and she thinks, oh my God.
She becomes a gem, is that what we're saying?
She becomes a gem, yes, and she thinks of herself as the daughter of a king, because that's something that's so foreign to her.
Right.
And so she really, in this aria, I really have a great time just being able to...
I think that's the one you should do tonight. I really want to hear it.
You sure do. Well, the second aria is O mio bambino caro,
oh, that's great,
which is from Johnny Schicchi, and how can you not hate Puccini? And
I know Weber steals enough from him. How can we,
Yes, and O mio bambino caro is about a girl who is just pleading to her father so that he will allow her to marry the man that she loves. And
well, you look like a great actress. That's probably the one you're going to pick, I guess. You look like you're in that mood today, so I think
I'm going to surprise you.
Okay, great. Do it in Hebrew. That'd be interesting.
Oh, indeed.
Okay, Jamet, tell us about your...
How to show?
Well, my 2, the one I'll probably sing this evening would be Vici d'arte, which is from the opera Tosca. You stop laughing.
I just throwing some Hebrew at you, babe.
Oh, indeed. Trust me, I work at the synagogue up there. I know. And in this aria, I am Floria Tosca, who is a singing diva. She's an opera diva, and she's basically cursing God. She's asking, why is he repaying me thusly for just showing love to people? And she has to make a choice whether to sleep with Scarpia in order to save her boyfriend's life, or to kill Scarpia. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens, right?
Indeed.
So you don't have a choice.
Actually, I do. The second one is Io son l'umile ancella.
Oh, which is wonderful. Too.
Don't you love that one? It's another diva. It's another singer. What? I just realized these things. Yes. Another singer
here today.
from the opera Adriana Lecouvreur, and she is simply saying that after one of her performances, she's saying that I'm just the the humble handmaiden of the genius creator, and she goes on telling about what she is in life and
So which one do
how
you think
great
you'll
she
pick
is.
today? What kind of mood are you in?
Well, we'll see. I'm always in a diva mood. Either one will work.
Either diva, aria will
Either
work.
diva, aria.
How do you protect your voice when you're off, that you have that day off? What do you do, anything interesting like honey and tea or something?
No, I simply try not to talk as much.
Okay, so I'll stop this pretty quick.
No, but we love talking.
We love talking to you.
All
Absolutely.
right, thank you. That's a nice compliment.
Yes.
And what about you? I love short people. That's why I'm smiling at it.
Well, to protect my voice, I usually sleep in, and not even put the alarm clock on and
Right.
just sleep in and
That's
just, wake up naturally. And then I'm always kind of fixing some hot tea and steaming and...
My father was a cantor. He used to steam all the time. He always used to get me steamed. Too, the poor guy. He was tough. But you have to protect his voice. He would keep quiet at least for 5 minutes, and then he would steam a lot and
Yes.
vocalize in the morning, wake everybody up at like 5 in the morning.
Yes.
So,
Just to kind of check to make sure the voice is
voice
there.
still there.
Yes.
Okay, well, what's it like to be on the road? That's the last question I'm going to ask you, because I know you need to go.
I love being on the road. DC is kind of like a second home to me because I sang with the Virginia Opera,
Oh, great.
and I lived here for a little bit in Virginia and Norfolk, and then I've been in DC singing for a lot of political events, and we won't talk about politics
Okay,
today.
we won't. So are you a Democrat or a Republican?
But I've been on the road actually since December.
Right.
I haven't been home since December, and then I
And
was
where's
in
home right
London.
now? Is it
Home is New York.
great? Lucky you.
Yes, and so I actually we have one day off a week,
Right.
and so I've been in New York every
What day
day
is it?
off. It's Mondays.
Oh, lucky you.
So, but it's great because you get to, usually the theaters always provide you with
Right.
an apartment, and you
Right.
feel like you have
A home there, which is great.
And
too.
it's great. They make you feel comfortable, and you get to meet great people, new people like you.
Hey, that's
and,
good.
Yeah.
Just tell everybody, I'm going to give you a chance to invite everybody to the show, so say something.
Please come out and support the homegirl, Jamet, and her homegirl, Nikinji. It's wonderful to be back home performing again, and anyone who hears this, and I'm sure there'll be lots of you, I know there are millions of you who are listening to this podcast, please
I
come
should
out
be
and
so
support.
lucky here.
Yes.
Oh, please, come out and support. You will get, I believe it's time for some good music, good musicians, good performers with a higher message. This isn't the kind of bass stuff that you'll hear. It's certainly not, I don't want to call any names now.
Yes.
It's certainly not your typical
Say it.
popcorn, bubblegum, Britney Spears stuff.
Uh-oh.
I went there. So
Oh, she
please.
put that baby in that seat finally.
I did. Yes, she did.
Yes.
I hope she did.
And it's eight different styles of music. You actually see 3 women that are showcased in singing opera, through jazz, through musical theater, through pop, and it's an event that you'll never experience.
Right.
Well, thank
And
you
a
very
fun
much,
show.
and good luck. I'll see you tonight. I'll stop at the backstage door to say hi to you. That's
Absolutely.
okay. And good luck with the show, and I hope the run is full of people.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so
Take
much.
care.
Take
Thanks.
care.
I'm here with Vivian Reed, Nina Negri, and Andrea Jones-Sojola. We'll start with Vivian. How are you doing today, Vivian?
I am doing great, thank you. So happy to be here with you.
You know, you're a Broadway legend in my eyes. There's a
Oh,
lot of
thank
people who've
you.
seen you over the years.
Thank you.
And I was here last night, and your cast won, right?
Cast 1, yes.
It's so hard to keep this straight.
I know, cast A, cast 1.
You know, what can I say? You're a great cast. Let's put that.
Yes,
We had a great
I'm so
time last
happy,
night,
yes.
and I'm honored to be sitting here with all of you who are incredible talents. And I'm here in this green room, they call it.
Yes.
Do you hide in here? Anybody hide in here between shows?
No, we actually stay in our dressing rooms or either go to each other's dressing rooms. I don't come in here, I don't know about the other 2 ladies, but I rarely come in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you hide. It's a good place.
It's a nice place.
I almost moved in this morning.
Did you really?
It was so nice. You know that Nina is Annandale, Virginia's pride and joy, we call you. Did you know that? Did you know that? And from the city of Rebecca Ruth's Bourbon Chocolates, Louisville, Kentucky, is Andrea Jones-Sojola. And you know why? because I lived there for years.
Did you?
I know these things.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, you know, last night, Vivian, you sent me home with a big fever. I had to take my temperature because you blew that number out of the wall last night.
Thank you.
I saw men panting in row D, 4, 6, and 8, really. It was...
I had fun doing it. I did that number, choreographed that number, and arranged that number for a show called a swing review in New York at the Edison nightclub, the supper club, which ironically used to be the Edison Theater on 47th Street.
Right.
So when we were asked to pick solo numbers, that was the one that I chose, one of the ones that I chose to do, and we're having fun doing it. Yes.
Well, how do you keep up that energy? You're like this all the time anyway.
I'm like that. My mom, God bless her, you know, she's up in age now, but she has that type of energy, so I get it from her. Yes, absolutely.
You know, talk a little bit about bubbling brown sugar, because, you know, you're probably tired of this, people asking you that. And I know your career's gone on from them, but, you know, I was a kid when I saw that. I was 19. Like, to me,
and I wasn't much older. Let's remember.
I remember that.
So let's get things here in perspective.
I know we really are almost the same age here. But and, you know, and I was there, and I heard that, you know, Sweet Georgia Brown.
Sweet Georgia Brown.
I remember turning to my friend and going, this woman's got it.
Oh, thank you.
This woman's got it. And you got nominated for that.
Got nominated for a Tony.
And that was 1976. 76, yes. And you know, that year they had Chorus Line. And
Chorus Line. I was up against some heavies.
I know. Donna McKechnie, Cheetah Rivera, and Gwen Burden. See, I got it right there.
You know what she did? She
Who
came
won
up
that
after,
year?
Donna McKechnie did. But she came up to me after the Tonys, and we were sitting, ironically, in the same theater. You know, that's where
Remember
the Tonys
where it was?
hosted. Oh, I can't remember.
Okay.
That's too long. It was 2 years ago. Anyway, she came up to me and she says, remember, young lady, she says, a Tony is not going to make you or break you. Your career is going to be...
There are people who want Tonys you never hear from anymore.
Exactly. You know, so I just thought that was just so
like
classy.
Academy Awards,
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Same thing. Okay, and then you were nominated for Tony in 1992
for High Rollers.
For High Rollers. Who was nominated that year? Do you remember?
I can't even... Oh, one of my good friends, and she won, but our show closed before Tanya Pinkins won.
And she was in Carolina Change.
Yes, in Carolina
Did you see her in Carolina?
No, I didn't, because I was out on the road. I know.
Shame on you.
I know.
You know, they're doing a really good production at Studio Theater.
I hear they are.
Julia Nixon. She's unbelievable.
Really?
I've seen it 5 times.
All right.
It's incredible. Well, that year, Barbara Walsh was nominated.
Okay.
For Falsettos.
Yeah, all right.
And you and Liz Larson for The Most Happy Fella.
Yes.
And who won that year?
I don't know. Oh, Tanya did.
Pickens.
You know, I went to Pittsburgh to be with my mom. She was having cataracts removed, so I didn't even go to
How'd
the
that
ceremony.
surgery go? Do you remember?
No, it was okay. It was okay for her, but to me that took precedent over anything.
Yeah, I've had 2 cataracts removed too. 2020 now. Amazing what they can do.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
So I have something to look forward to then.
I know. So you did the production in San Diego.
Yes.
So how does it compare to this one? Talk a little bit about how similarities and how different it was.
Well, we had, of course, I was with 2 different ladies who were actually very, very good, wonderful classical singers. But I'm just so proud of the ladies who are with me now, you know, Nina Negri and Andrea Jones-Sojola, because they bring so much to the table. Andrea...
And this is a nice table here, right?
It's a nice table, a nice table. Andrea, with her ability to... her acting ability, more than just her incredible technique as a singer in Your Daddy's Son is just...
I was going to talk about that with you because, you know, I was in Toronto the night that was in the show.
Yes.
First time Audrey McDonald ever sang it. And I can tell you, Canadian audiences are pretty sedate. You know, I mean, like, we're talking about the, you know, the matinees sometimes.
Yeah.
Sedate people.
Yes.
And after she sang it, and what I liked about it was that they did, and you sang it very similarly. So I'll say it now. You sang it very similarly last night. You just sang what the song meant.
Yeah, exactly.
And remember, she's holding this baby who she buried in the garden, you know. I mean, it's important to establish roots, but this is ridiculous, you know, burying the kid there. So
You're very witty.
I try. My last name is Markowitz, so if I'm not witty, they'll call me Marco. You know? So anyways, so here I am, and it was done simply, just with a spotlight, her sitting on the stage. You know, React On, they spent zillions of dollars. They'll never put a show, they couldn't afford to put a show that beautiful as it was. And here she is sitting on the stage with the spotlight, and you know that voice, right? Yeah. You know, because Vivian knows because you were Marie Christine, and I was there opening night. You know.
But you know what I got to tell you, though? I got to tell you.
Go ahead.
I can imagine liking Andrea's more than I like Andrea's. Because every time Andrea sings that song, when I see her acting ability within that song, she sends chills up my spine. So Audra is Audra, but you know what? This is my girl here.
Well, that's what I was
This is my girl here, and that's my other girl.
Say it, Vivian. I was just trying to say it.
I'm just telling you.
Trying to tell her how remarkable her rendition was last night. I sat there and I had those chills up my back, and I said, and one of the questions was, are you going to play Sarah in ragtime one of these days, or have you?
I would absolutely love to. I never
mean,
have.
you would be great.
I don't usually do anything outside of the classical realm, so once I get out there, this is kind of my springboard, this show. So perhaps I will in the future. I would love to.
And then I want to say something about Nina.
Oh, yeah.
No, go say about
Since
Nina.
you asked me about the ladies.
Nina always takes over. This is great.
Well, listen,
my job is easier. Thank God. I'm so glad she's here.
No, I just wanted to say about Nina is that her abundance in talent is just remarkable also because of her classical music ability in the opera world. And then she can dance. Hello!
I know.
The girl can dance.
I noticed that. She really kept her on her toes yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I mean, did you see that?
Yeah.
Look at her. Look at her.
I know. She's got that.
So I'm proud. I'm just capping it off by saying I'm just proud of my cast.
So you like her, huh?
I like my cast. I love this cast.
You know, it's so nice to see some love here among the cast. You know, sometimes you go, I do these things and they don't even talk to each other. You know? Very strange.
Well, we hope it shows on stage also.
Well, it does show a lot, and it looks like you've known each other for a long time.
Yeah,
and it's
I feel like I've known
you all work off each other, and that's the best kind of cast you can have. And especially when you're on the road, you're away from home, you need that closeness, that tightness, right? Let's talk about Nina. Let's talk, since Vivian likes you, let's talk about, I mean, how's it feel to be the local girl made good here, performing on the Kreeger stage?
I feel famous. It's so wonderful to have the support, you know, because you'll be in, I don't know, somewhere in Canada, and nobody will know you, and you're like, oh, I'm so lonely.
Did you do anything in Canada?
I did the Stratford Festival in
That must have
Canada.
been exciting.
It was exciting.
And what did you do there?
The King and I.
And who'd you play?
I understudy tucked him.
Oh, great.
So I was a royal wife most of the time. And I also went to Canada with Les Mis.
And what'd you play there?
I understudied Cosette.
Okay, wonderful. How many times did you get on?
Oh, many times, like 30 times.
Oh, that's great. Wow. And you got Marius there. That was good.
Yeah.
And do you remember who played Marius there?
Adam Jacobs, who's going to be now the Marius on Broadway.
I know.
Yes.
You know, I just was at Jacques Brel was alive and well, although he's dead somewhere outside of Paris. You know, and over at Only Theater, and J.D. Goldblatt, who's in there, who sings a great Amsterdam, as they say. He just got hired to be in that cast.
Oh,
so
great.
they're excited about that.
Yeah.
It's going to be terrific. I've seen Les Mis 15 times. I tell people it's the story of my Orthodox Jewish upbringing. You know? My life changed when they took me to a Chinese buffet one day. That was it, you know. But anyway, that was sad. So it's nice to see, you know, local people making it good, or people who work in D.C. You know, we have this large theater community now. We're the second largest theater community outside of New York. It's hard to believe, and a lot of New York people come here.
Oh, wow.
And they're working here at Arena, and working in studio theater, and
New York
working.
girl now.
That's right, you're a New York girl now. Okay, what shows have you appeared in? Tell us about them besides Les Mis.
West
New
Side
York.
Story.
You went, and who'd you play there?
Maria.
Okay, great.
Good Vibrations.
You were in that thing, so tell us why that didn't work in New York. How long did that last?
I did the one at New York Stage and Film Festival.
Oh, lucky you! You were in that
Yes.
Broadway thing.
And then I got Les Mis. I was like, a job for a year or a job for a week.
You know, I was in New York, and but you were working. That's very important.
Exactly.
You know, there are temps out there whose lives are very similar, right?
Right.
You know, I was in New York and I saw Spring Awakening. I don't know if you've heard about this show. That's such a wonderful. Leah Michelle is in there, who was in that cast, who played the little girl in Ragtime, and now she's playing Eponine in the new Les Mis, which will be more miserable, I'm told. So I can't wait. I can't wait to see it in October. Okay, let's see. How did you get the role here? Who called you? You auditioned for the role, right?
Correct.
And what did you sing at your audition? Do you remember?
I sang a whole recital. Spanning.
This is what Mary and Caffey made you do.
I came in, sang an aria, sang another aria, sang a pop song, sang a musical theater
I
song.
want to see if you
sang
could
a
last,
country
if you had
song.
that power to last here, that energy. Well,
Yeah.
smart then. I'll give them that
We
credit.
danced a little, then we sang again, then we sight read some stuff together with other women, and
So how many callbacks did you get?
was it one audition and 2 callbacks, right?
So then you had to do this all over again? Did you have to?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I just think he was testing your energy, I think.
Exactly.
See if you were taking enough B12s, I think, or something like that. Right? Okay, let's talk to Andrea Jones-Sojola. I get that right?
That's perfect.
Okay, as a daughter of the South, you grew up in Louisville, Kentucky. How did you get involved with theater? Because there is that actors theater.
There is actually, but I was mostly involved in choirs, like high school choirs and everything. And then I had planned on going into musical theater. So,
Thank you, Vivian is pointing the recorders.
I had planned on going into musical theater.
At least they're having a good time.
I know. She's so bossy, isn't she?
Because he keeps doing this. Because you were
Because you moved it. You moved it to her.
Children. Can we get back to this, please?
We're like family.
And that's wonderful. I'm having a great time. What were we talking about there?
I don't even remember.
About theater in
you were talking
Louisville.
about theater, yeah.
Louisville,
So,
right? See, I lived there. So.
Yeah, you know how to say it
Yes.
because it's not Louisville or.
I hate when they do that.
Yeah,
What's
it's
wrong with these Northerners? Huh?
Louisville.
That's why they had that war. They couldn't pronounce the name of Louisville, I think.
Right. So yeah, I mostly wanted to sing, not necessarily just do straight acting. So I wanted to go into musical theater, and I'd planned on going into like a conservatory or something, but I didn't. My plans changed, and I got started with classical music, and then I just stayed with it.
Right.
Really until now.
You've got this booming voice, and I
Well-
tell you, your diction was fantastico.
Oh,
You have these people who swallow every word. You wonder what's going on there. The school of mumbling or something.
Oh, well.
It's bad, but you were terrific, all of you, I must say.
Thank
Just
you.
the power yesterday. And you
Thank
can see the dedication and the love you were. It was so great. I came out of there like, oh, good.
Oh, good.
Okay, that's what you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
And I had just gotten that horrible paycheck yesterday, so you really made my life. I forgot about it for like an hour.
That's our job, is to make you forget about the hard
So what are
times.
the audiences like? You travel over, you've done opera roles in Poland, and Egypt, and the United Arab Emirates,
Yes,
is that right? And
yes.
Czechoslovakia.
Yes, Czech Republic.
So what was that like? What were the audiences like?
They were all fantastic. Usually, I mostly go to Spain every year, and
Right.
they treat us like rock stars. And I find European audiences to be very vocal,
Right.
because opera over there has been referred to as a blood sport.
Right.
So, I mean, they're
It's like
just...
chasing the bulls every year.
Yeah, they're
right?
very, very rowdy. But in the United Arab Emirates and in Egypt, they were a little quieter.
Yep.
I had a couple of embarrassing moments on stage.
Like what? Tell us about
Well, I was in the United Arab Emirates, and I was singing for a mostly Middle Eastern audience, and I was singing a così fan tutte, the role of Despina. I think, have you done Despina? No. I thought you did Despina.
It's time to learn. She'll teach it to you.
Well,
for
she's
the
singing
rundown.
arias about, you should date different men, date several men. You don't need to just stay with one
Right.
man. So I'm singing all this.
Right.
And
What a great selection for these.
well, yes, and when I get done and I have, this big high note at the end, and I just, put my hands out.
Nothing.
You hear that? Crickets. Yeah. Silence. No one clapped.
Why?
And I did, well,
Did that
because of
shake you up?
the subject matter. I was like, oh, it really must have been bad, but it kept happening repeatedly. They were not excited about my text. So,
Well, why did you choose those? Who was the person who selected those things?
it was someone who was an expatriate.
X is right. Very X. Is he still
Right,
living after
right,
that?
yes, she is.
I'm glad to hear that.
But it was fun. It was fun. They were very gracious.
Well, we already talked about working together.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important. And talk about the costumes, because you have these tremendous, wonderfully visual, gorgeous costumes. And my friend Pauline Thompson, who came with me last night, said, you better ask them about those costumes, because they were really elegant. So talk a little bit about when the
They're
fitting and what
beautiful.
that was like.
Oh, I have never had people attend me as much as these costumers here and in New York City. I mean, it was wonderful. I've never had a costume. Not even my wedding dress was made for me. So
Tell us what rack you bought that off. No, just kidding.
But yeah, it was wonderful. They paid close attention to every curve in our bodies, and I think the costumes are absolutely
That's what everybody else
beautiful.
said, the other two who I interviewed, and they said the same thing, that the costumes, they're not so worried about what they look like when they're out there, because they trust the costume. The costumes are so beautiful, and they are. It's worth coming just for the costumes, really, just beautiful. Let's talk about your operatic training. And Vivian, I didn't know you could sing those arias.
Well, that's my background.
I didn't even know
I
that. So.
started at the age of 8 at Pittsburgh Musical Musical Institute, and after high school I went to Juilliard, and I was a dramatic soprano, and then after about the third year I went into another part of the business.
Okay, good.
Yeah, but that is my background.
But tell me about the aria you sing.
Pace Pace from La Forza del Destino.
And what's it about?
And this woman who is in love with this man, and they're going to run off, and the father hears of this and becomes very, very upset. And by accident, the boyfriend kills the father.
Right.
Then,
They're such happy arias.
Yeah, well, actually, the basic, you know what, you want to know what this aria is about?
Yeah.
Murder.
You're in the right city for it.
And a love, a desperate love for this man, for the two people have for each other. And she's in this quiet place asking basically for God to take her breath away, because she cannot live without this man, because they become separated. And it's a very dramatic aria, which
it is, and you sing it beautifully.
Thank you so much.
And I will talk to Nina here, because she's still here, I promise. We should move this thing.
So bossy.
I know, she's so bossy. They're moving my machine around. So if you hear all this weird stuff, it's because, Anyways, go ahead, Nina. Tell us about your aria.
The aria I sing is Una voce poco fa. It's from the Barber of Seville.
Say that slower. Here, say it again.
Una voce poco fa,
Better,
meaning
thank you.
a little while ago. Basically, she is in love with this man, and something's getting in her way. So she's saying, I'm sweet, I'm gentle, but if something is going to get in my way to get this man, I'm going to win, and I'm going to lay 100 traps for them, and I'm going to win in the end. I'm going to get that man.
So you're a winner on this one. Okay, Andrea, it's yours.
I don't actually.
No.
I don't actually sing an aria. I sing a song by Richard Strauss, and it's
so
called.
You cause a furor there on the stage. Sorry, that was bad.
That's okay. It's called Alle Seelen, which really means All Saints Day or All Souls Day.
Right.
So my interpretation of it is that it's someone who has lost a lover.
Right.
And the person is just kind of walking into a room and reminiscing and seeing things that remind them of their old lover.
Right.
And it talks about Wie einst im Mai, which is just like in May. So they're remembering things that, happened in the springtime.
Right.
But one day a year is All Saints Day, where people lay the flowers on the graves of those who have passed on.
Right.
So it's just basically a day of remembrance.
Right. And you sing it beautifully, too, all of you.
Thank you.
That was so dramatic, walking in and hearing, my God, these people can really sing. Amazing. It sets the tone. They're like, what else will they do?
Oh, I'm impressed with these girls because they haven't, done classical music in a long time. But I told them that if somebody comes, if some kind of opera producer comes, these kids are going to be hired in a minute, because they are just as good as the people that I've been working with.
And what did I tell you, Andrea?
What did the great Vivian tell you?
What did I tell you?
You weren't trying to sing opera anymore?
Never.
But she sounds amazing.
I walked in and I did like the double take here, like, oh my God, she can do it all.
They
I
both
loved
sound
it.
so fresh.
I loved
I'm
it
impressed.
at the time, and I'm actually loving that I'm doing it now, because it is a passion, because it was my gift from God, but I so love my career the way it is now, and I love that blues and the funk.
You get the mix a little bit, which is so nice. Let's talk about protecting your voice on your day off, since now you're not doing it.
We're not.
No, we're not, because I have you here. But once I get done here in about 5-6 minutes, hopefully, for all of you.
Are you going to take us for like brownies or donuts or something?
You may earn some brownie points there, I don't know. I'm on this Weight Watchers thing, so sorry.
Let me tell you.
I've lost 90 pounds.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm half the man I used to be.
That's right.
11 months. You hear that out there?
That's wonderful.
Okay, so let's continue on, now that I gave Weight Watchers a plug here. Tell me what you do with your voice.
On the day off?
Yes.
I usually relax and I talk. I'm a
tea,
talker.
no tea and
so.
lemon or honey or that.
Not really. I just drink water. This one drinks tea a lot. Miss
That's
Vivian
her bag,
here.
as they say, right?
Tea and water, yes.
Is that what you do? And Nina?
Rest, as much rest as I can get. Sleeping, you know, just no talking.
Like she is at this, you know.
Right.
Well, you know, Andrea is particularly funny. I wish the people could see. I know this is radio,
No, they can
but
see
it's
it
so
here.
funny because when Andrea is protecting her voice,
Yeah.
you'll say something, I'll say something to her that's funny, and she does. It is the funniest thing because she's not giving any volume to anything. It's
We
like,
went to a
oh, she's very
performance-
smart.
We went to a performance yesterday, and instead of being like, woohoo, yeah, she was like, woo!
It's like a sitting ovation. It was a standing one. How sad. Let me end this now because I'm going to give you a chance to just personally invite everybody to come. So we'll start with Andrea here.
Our show is awesome. We have a good time on stage, and so we'll make sure that you have a good time as well. Bring your friends and your family and your loved ones, and we guarantee that you will have a ride.
How do you like that? That's hard to follow here, but I'm sure Vivian will.
No, all I was going to say is I ditto everything that Andrea said, but to all of the fans out there who remember me from Bubbling Brown Sugar, please come out because you will see a different kind of Vivian Reed, and you will be introduced to two other ladies who are absolutely phenomenal. So I do implore you to please come out. You'll have a wonderful time in theater.
Okay, Nina, it's yours.
If you like music, be prepared to be wowed.
Ow! That's your homegirl. That's your homegirl.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It was great seeing you last night and having you here. I know you're on the run again.
Thank you
I
for
hope-
coming to our show.
You're so welcome. Okay, thanks very much. Take care.
Okay. You're wonderful.
I'm here with Tony Award-winning actress Gretha Boston, who won the Tony Award in 1995 for Best Featured Actress playing Queenie. Right, I saw the show last night, and you were fantastic, as I expected. You have that unique voice. No one can copy you. It's nice if anybody asks me, so what does she sound like? I say, velvet, smooth,
thank you.
credible voice,
Thanks.
chills up the spine kind of voice. So I'm glad you're back here. I wish they'd put you back on Broadway. You had any bites lately? Any
No,
bites?
no bites at all. Not really.
What's going on there?
I don't know. New York musical theater just seems...
Special effects now, loud
Yeah.
music,
Yeah,
and you
so-
can't
so
hear.
it just,
You know, that's why a show like Drowsy
doesn't
Chaperone
feel-
is so wonderful. You know, I was there, I saw it a couple times, and old-fashioned musical, silly, people having fun, no
I'm
profanity.
going to see it when I get back, because Beth Level, a friend of mine, she wants to tell me
I was so happy when she won. You know, I have
Yeah.
this big Tony party every year, and we went,
massive body of work, you know, that
And
she's done.
and it's about time she won, you know, and she earned it with
Right.
this one. So tell me about when you won the Tony, when you were sitting there, and I watched it the other night. I have all the Tonys back
Oh my
to
gosh.
86.
You
okay?
actually went back
I
and
do,
did
and
it?
I sat there. So tell me, do you remember that night when they opened the envelope?
I do remember that night, but it happened so quickly, you know, and it just kind of, I remember red buttons being in my chest, and I was wondering, when is he going to let me go so I can
You know, he
say my
just passed
speech?
away with four red buttons there.
Oh, he did,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think they said sayonara to him. You know, he won the
Yeah.
Oscar for that. But that was supposed to be a joke, but didn't
But
work.
it was-
Okay. Didn't work.
I'm
did it?
sorry.
So-
It's still early.
It's early. Anyway,
But,
yeah, talk about
But it was a
Tony.
lovely night. I really had a great time. I can't really remember all the specifics, but I remember my cast waiting for me at a club where they had watched it on the big screen television and had a catered event. So rather than going to the Tony's party dinner, I joined my cast.
Well, isn't that wonderful? That
Yeah.
doesn't happen a lot, you know.
Yeah.
They were a great cast.
They were,
And
absolutely.
And I can tell you the first time I saw you, I was there was a fairly big snowstorm, and I took this bus up, this Trailways thing. They don't exist anymore, thank God. And we got stuck in the Lincoln Tunnel for about 3 hours.
Right.
I ran from Port Authority in this high snow, and I got to the theater. It was the Gershwin, right? And it said sold out. And I sat there and I said to the guy, I just dragged here all this way. You
Right.
got to get me in, please.
Wow.
And he said, well, we're sold out, young man. I said, you've got to get me in. I'll stand here. I started crying. I was nuts. That's the first time I ever had. Now, you know, I buy them online at BroadwayBox.com before I walk
Before
in
you
there.
walk in.
And so finally he said to me, you know, one of these house seats I just found, and I was in the second row.
Wow.
And you know when you did Misery's Coming Around, that was it for me. I said, this woman is unbelievable. So you think you can do a little Misery's Coming Around? Just a little for everybody?
No, it's too rough.
It's too rough, but that's a tough song, you know,
Yeah.
to sing, and you were just great. You know, they haven't done a production that expensive in a long time.
Did you hear anything about there being a revival?
Really?
Yeah.
They're always
Have you
doing.
heard that?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I read
Someone
my
asked me that, and I said, I don't think so.
I read my playbill on at playbill.com, my theatermania.com, my broadwayworld.com every
Right,
day. I haven't
right.
seen it yet,
Yeah.
but I'll let you know how that. You see it. Tell me about the other two people you're performing with, and you're cast one, right?
Yes. Cast A.
A, sorry.
Cast A. Just very delightful women. I came into this process a week later than anybody else because I was doing the Crowns in Denver, and
How'd that go?
that was fine.
Yeah.
Besides the rake stage, but it was fine.
Oh, what kind of stage was it?
A double rake.
Was that at the Performing Arts Center there? Where
yeah.
Because I lived in Lakewood for a while, and I used to go there. I saw Parade there when I was
Yeah.
there. That is a very interesting space.
It is. So they were very, very helpful in helping me find my way into this show. So
Talk
both
about
so
Jamet.
talented.
Yeah. Talk about Jamet Nakenji.
Jamet and Kenji.
Yeah.
Well, Jamet is just so fabulous. You know, definitely classically trained, as you can tell.
Right.
Visi Darte just is beautiful every night.
But she sang opera in Europe, and she has all this
Yeah.
training. And a classical pianist. She gets to play piano on the
Yes, she gets
show.
to play piano in the show.
Right.
And Kenji is just, oh my gosh.
She's a firecracker.
That's what I call her,
And she's so sweet. I mean, I
Yes,
just,
she is.
I interviewed her yesterday and Jamet together.
Right.
Thank God I did that. And they just were, have to listen to it. I'll give you a card where you can listen to it. They are just fabulous.
They're wonderful.
Wonderful people.
Yeah.
And the one thing
So I'm
yeah.
fortunate, to be working with a group of women like
Right.
this.
And they have such respect for you, I should
And
say.
all the women, all six of us, I should say.
The double three
Yes.
Mo Divas.
Exactly.
And they are wonderful people. I interviewed all of them. Now you're the last one.
Right.
And it's so nice to hear about their careers and how enthusiastic they are about the show. What about the audience reaction here so far? What's that
It's
been
been great. It really has been. Probably far more than I even expected it to be. Yeah, I really did. You just never know how an artist is going to gravitate towards, something this new, because it's never been done before.
Right.
So
Well, the three Mo
they-
tenors have been
the three
done.
Mo tenors, but not the divas. So
Right.
it was really, really nice. It's been really nice every night.
Can you tell me about the arias that you sing? Because I wish Mr. Caffey would let you introduce your arias, because most of the people there I noticed were just, and I asked people if they knew what you were singing, didn't
Right.
know. There are a lot of young
the
kids there.
habanero, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that it's from Carmen, and
Right.
that's
You're
her
saying it
seductive-
beautifully, I must say.
That's her
Just beautifully.
seductive number. So,
Right.
but I enjoyed it. I'm getting used to it because I've been away from it for so long.
Right.
So I'm just this is forcing me to get back into the.
Well, you have that incredible voice. You can do anything.
Yeah, and I have been doing quite a few other things besides the classical.
You have the
music.
Marian Anderson show you're working on.
Yeah,
Your voice
and
is
we
very
finished
similar. So tell me about how that's going. And
Well, we finished it and shopping it around to some of the rep stages so we can do a workshop of it.
Metro Stage right here would be perfect. They did Mahalia there
Oh, they did.
the other day, and I'll put you in touch with Carolyn Griffin today.
Okay,
How's that?
good.
That's a
Great.
really good place to do it.
Uh-huh.
And right now they have an Ellington show with Jimmy Ray Mallon.
Yes, I heard about
And
it.
it's
good.
wonderful.
Oh, good.
It's wonderful. And
Right.
I just did an interview with him, and he sings a couple songs on it.
Oh, wow.
He sings Drop Me Off at Harlem.
Oh,
And
really?
a cappella he does When I Fall in Love because he did the Nat King Cole show.
Oh, okay.
So
and who is this?
This is Jimmy Ray Mallory. His name is. He's Velvet too. So here we have both of these shows here with all this wonderful music, which brings back the good times when people sang and you knew who they were. They didn't all sound alike.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, that's why I said your voice is so unique. I mean, if I was outside, I'd think, that's Greta Boston. I can always tell. But talk about your musical training and where you grew up and, you know, how you got started in the business.
Well, I grew up in a town called Crossett, Arkansas, where, you know, of course I was started in the church.
Right.
And at a very young age. And participated in band and choir and decided, I was trying to decide whether I was going to be a singer or not or be an attorney.
So, I know. I used to manage paralegals, so I must tell you, you made the right move here.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, maybe I should have gotten it.
You have this talent you should share with people. I think you do.
So I went to North Texas State University, which is now the University of North Texas, and studied there, and then went on to University of Illinois and worked with John Bushman there for about 2 years, just doing leader and.
Well, that'll train you. My father was a cantor, and you know how difficult cantorial was. It's all coloratura.
Actually, I worked at a Jewish synagogue, at a Reform synagogue. That they, I think we were quintet. Yes.
Oh, that.
We would do the music.
I would go to synagogue more if I knew you were there.
Yeah, we would do. We had a wonderful time there, and then I came to New York after I went to New York in 1984 and worked 6.5 years in real estate.
Really?
2 years in publishing.
So you went from that to Queenie? That's amazing.
Right, and actually, I really literally did.
You did, right?
Yes, I did.
So you go right there and you win a Tony, not so bad.
And you know, music was done on the side. I mean, I obviously did Carnegie and all that good stuff while I was still doing, you know, a 9 to 5.
Right.
But when Showboat did finally come along, I said, okay, well, maybe this is my...
What was that audition like when you walked in there?
Well, that audition process was long.
Excruciating, wasn't it?
4 times.
Really?
Yeah, 4 times I sang for them. And finally, the last time, though, was with Hal Prince and actually all the creative staff and the producers and everything. And
was Garth Verbinski there?
Garth was there.
He wasn't in jail at that time, right?
No, he wasn't.
Okay, good. It's another story, right?
Yes.
For later.
And so Al walked up on stage and said, it's going to be a pleasure working with you, Queenie. So...
Wow, what else? Hal Prince winner, what? Now he has another Tony they gave him, 23 Tonys now. I wonder where he keeps all of them.
Well, when I was in his office, they were in his office. Some of them were most of them were in his office.
Can you imagine?
Oh, no, I can't.
You worked with this giant of theater. What was he like to work with?
Wonderful. So respectful and just, you know, just let me do my thing. And
that's so rare in the theater, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
You know, you were lucky. And then you won that Tony. Oh, my God. And then you did Ain't Nothing But the Blues. Talk about that for people. And you got another Tony nomination for that.
That was just a real joy. Another group of talented people. And, you know, my father always wanted me to sing the blues, so he got his chance, got his wish, so...
And you're so good at doing it. Tell people what you sing in the show.
I do a piece called Downhearted Blues, which I think was made, Alberta Hunter may have even written that.
Right.
Yeah, she did write that. Bessie Smith made it very popular, though.
Right.
Which I did this piece in Cooking at the Cookery.
And you did it at the Citadel Theater.
I did it at the Citadel, which
Edmonton.
I'm going back to, and they're looking forward to me coming back.
They love you, you know. I
nice.
have their PR here, you know, there, see?
Oh, wow.
And it says, and I'll read it here, if you love Gretha Boston and Cooking at the Cookery, she's back and she's not alone. 3 Mo Divas is here. See, right there.
That's great.
They love you.
Yeah,
and what's the theater like there at the Citadel? I may come and visit now.
Wonderful organ. It's just a wonderful theater. It was a wonderful place to work, and The artists were great. They really were.
And they treated you well. Because I go to
Wonderful.
Toronto a lot.
Wonderful.
And I used to go backstage, and people are so sedate and treat each other well.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's good.
I'm looking forward to going back myself.
Right. Tell me what the first show was that you ever performed in. Do you remember?
Oh, man. First show.
Theater production?
Well, Showboat was it.
Really?
Yes, Showboat was it.
How many people do this? I don't know anybody else who just hops
Showboat
in
was
there
it.
and does something like that. I remember the reaction from the audience was so incredible at Showboat. I know I went nuts a couple of times.
Oh,
So
yeah.
beautiful to look at the set design.
It was,
And the
it was
cast.
absolutely.
I mean, he was Mark Jacoby. He goes to Ragtime. That poor guy's had such tough luck, right? He
Right.
goes there. He plays Phantom. He's now doing Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
And,
such
and he's
a
playing
rough life.
instruments, you know.
Yeah.
The guy's unbelievable. And what a nice guy, because after all those shows, I always go to see him, and he's always, how you doing? What's new? Just a real nice guy doing well. It's nice to see that once in a while, right?
Yeah, he gets the job done. So that's why he's been so successful.
And
in
tell me
his
about
career.
resting your voice between shows, because both casts rotate.
Well, I'm talking now, but normally,
I just wanted to know.
normally I would be quiet after
Right.
doing a show. Yeah.
And you don't do weird things like
Oh, no,
all
no.
kinds of herbs and things. I mean, you should,
Well, I drink tea
okay, you're the tea
herbal
person,
tea.
right? You
And,
throw the honey in there.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Just
my father
in
used to
case.
do that a lot. He used to steam a lot. You know,
Was he a singer?
he was a cantor.
Oh,
He was a-
cantor, yes.
He was a lyric tenor.
Oh,
He sang
right,
for-
yes.
For years and years. Tell me about working with Robert Goulet in South Pacific. Did he behave himself during that run?
I had a ball.
I met him in Pittsburgh. My brother has a PR firm there.
Yeah.
And he used to work at Carnegie Mellon, the theater department. He did the PR there. And he used to set up interviews for them. And he worked at the Benedum Theater. And he called me up and said, you must take the train here because there's someone wonderful there. So there we go.
Right.
And he was, I don't know if the show was canceled that night. Something happened.
Oh, yeah.
But he was good with you in South Pacific, right?
Yeah, it was wonderful to see, someone, of his age and
And he can
still
still
out there
sing.
doing it. I mean, really,
Really?
just out there putting it out every night. So, and doing 8 shows a week. You know.
He was doing all like 8
Yeah.
shows?
So he and his wife Vera, they were
Right.
really, really, we go out to dinner sometimes, and I just really had a good time with him.
He was a really,
He's a
really
cut-up,
nice.
but
He
yeah,
is.
he's a cut-up, but
very
I
funny
really-
guy, and he's got so many friends in Hollywood.
And he has so many stories, and just to have someone like him share some of those.
That was a great experience. I would love to have been there, fly on the wall
Right.
half the time. Well, tell people out here why they should come see the show.
Because you have such a wonderful, vast range of music, so everybody gets a little piece of whatever you want. If it's jazz, if it's blues,
Right.
if it's Broadway, so you get a little piece of everything, and opera as well. So it's a little something for everybody.
It is.
And it's a family show, and it's great. It's a lot of history, and you learn a lot.
It's true.
Yeah, you really do.
Well,
And we got a great band on stage as well.
they are very good.
The arrangements were by the fabulous Joseph Joubert.
And I met him yesterday,
Oh, you
and
did?
I love Carolina Change. It's one of my favorite shows, and there's a great production over Studio Theater right now.
Oh, yeah.
And he's very happy. It didn't do great in New York.
No.
Something that exciting and new never seems to do well in New York. I don't know why, but at one time, since they've left New York, they've done just
That's
great.
great.
A lot of shows do that. Like Secret Garden was another one that was so wonderful. Critics were not kind to, and now every school's doing it, and I would love to have some of those royalties now.
Exactly.
But you never know what's going to work, right? Isn't that the truth, especially in the
It's
Big
true.
Apple?
Right.
It's the Big Apple. But I'm glad you were here today, and
I'm glad to be here.
thank you very much, and I'll come back to hear you again.
I hope
I
so.
just love
Yeah.
that voice.
Tell your friends.
I will. You're going to have you recorded anything, CDs or anything?
No, I haven't.
You know,
Only on the auspices of, Showboat or
But you haven't done your own
blues,
solo.
But I haven't
You
done
need
it yet,
to
and
do
I
it.
am going
You
to
need
do
to
it.
do it.
I really am. I said that if not this year, then certainly, hopefully by the beginning of next
You've
year.
got to get that voice on CD so
Yeah,
I can
do.
pop it in my CD player on,
really
on the
do.
Metro. I would love
I've been
to.
saying it for years, and
I keep
it's
popping that
just a matter
Showboat thing
of,
in,
I think it's a matter of what do I put on it for my first CD, what do I So I just
You
have to
could do
make up my
something
mind.
like this show, a little bit of everything.
little bit of everything,
You know,
I think.
Stokes just did his new CD, and he's got a little bit of everything.
I
on
think
it.
that's what I'll call it, a little bit of everything.
That's good. And you may steal that.
Yeah,
I
all
give
right.
you permission.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being here.
All right. Great.